The following is a tale of Antinous, whose young foolish mind of the suitor did himself wrong and cost him his death. This is in honor of the death of Antinous.
Antinous, my son.
My father, finally reunited after so many years. So hard to find relatives in the underworld.
Speak to me of your death, for curiosity overwhelms me.
It was him who slayed me, father. Horrendous Odysseus himself came of Ithaca.
Odysseus? He always seemed to be a kind and courteous man of honor. So why?
Patience, father. The following of what you are about to hear is a story of the death of Antinous. This tale all began when Odysseus didn't return from Troy. With Odysseus gone meant the beautiful Penelope was supposedly open for suitors. Many young princes, including myself, ran to her asking for her hand in marriage. Penelope stalled and stalled for many years for Odysseus' return, while the suitors blindly swarmed the king's palace, eating and drinking daily. We slaughtered the best of Odysseus' cattle and feasted for years. We helped ourselves to his treasures and kept him as our own. All the suitors became drunk almost every meal and slept with the queen's maids. We continued this routine for years, thinking Odysseus was dead and waiting for Penelope to choose a suitor. But one day an old beggar entered the palace gates, scrimmaging for scraps. For some reason I had a strong distaste for this beggar. He was suspicious and seemed out of place. I said to him, "What a brazen, shameless beggar, scrounging food from each man in turn, and looking at their handouts. Reckless, never a qualm, no holding back, not when making free with the next man's goods. Each one's got plenty here." He said to me,
Pity, no sense in your head to match your handsome looks. You grudge your servant a pinch of salt from your own larder, you who lounge at the next man's board but lack the heart to tear a crust of bread and hand it on to me, for there's God's plenty here.
Because of this I was furious. I shouted, "Now, you won't get out of the hall unscarred. I swear, not after such a filthy string of insults." In a state of anger, I seized a stool and hurled it. I struck him square in the back, just under the right shoulder, but somehow he stood up against it, steady as a rock. Soon after, Penelope brought out Odysseus' bow and challenged the suitors. Knowing only Odysseus could string the bow, she said whoever could string the bow would be declared as her husband. Eager to do so, suitors took the bow and attempted to shoot the arrow through the axes. Every single suitor was unsuccessful in even stringing the bow. After realizing the following, I wheeled up on the suitors and insulted them for even thinking that they could match the strength of Odysseus. After all the failed attempts, the beggar returned and tried to string the bow. He took careful aim and shot through the axes. The moment of truth was revealed. The beggar was King Odysseus himself. He said,
Look, your crucial test is finished now, at last, but another target's left that no one's hit before. We'll see if I can hit it. Apollo, give me glory.
And in a blink of an eye, the great Odysseus strung the bow once more and shot Antinous clean through the neck. This is the story of greed, indulgence, and loyalty, but maybe this is the story of revenge. Let him do one of them all, for he will seek revenge.